Hey everybody, it's Steph. Today, I need to just talk. And I might cry, but I might not because I've cried a lot over the past few days. No matter how many times we experience it, when it happens, it blindsides us. One of my closest friends passed away last week. She's my age, a month younger, and she had a heart attack. She has 5 beautiful children, 2 of which are grown. Not very grown. They're like very young adults. And she has a 15-year-old and a 13-year-old. And I believe he's getting ready to turn 6. I thought that she was on top of her health. She had lost a lot of weight, and I believe she was on the shot for being diabetic, but she was, mindful of the food she was eating and getting exercise and, doing all the things. I certainly did not see this coming. She had so many dreams, still goals to achieve. And of course, her children to raise. She's the second close friend I've lost. Technically, it's more than a year, but I didn't find out about one friend until many months later. Me and that friend, we communicated a lot, but we would have moments where we would go months without communication. And I had been wondering, I had mentioned it, I believe, in February of last year, that I hadn't heard from her in a few months. It had been since like September, I believe, and I needed to check in on her because I was well, me being me, I didn't reach out to her until it was her birthday, and I went to Facebook to wish her happy birthday, and I saw people saying happy heavenly. And of course, in disbelief, I went and looked for her obituary, and there it was. I still have no idea how she passed away. I wasn't close enough to her to know any of her. I met her sister once, I believe. We were co-workers. We met in 2011 and remained friends since. She started out knowing me as the weird girl, and our we got assigned stations back to back, and she told me, "Oh no, they put me next to the weird girl," and we somehow ended up becoming really close friends. So yeah, that bothers me that, her obituary just said she was found in her home, and there was a lot of activity on her page, kind of, one of her best friend ended up at her house, because she hadn't heard from her in a few days, beating on the door, her dog was barking, and she had to call the police to do a welfare check. So I don't know what happened with her. I don't know how she went out. It doesn't matter. She's not here. So yeah, I found out about that in June of last year, and here we are. I spoke. I'm not gonna name names, but I'm just keeping the names private. But I spoke to the one who recently passed. The Wednesday before, we pretty much spoke on a daily basis. Sorry, I need a drink. We pretty much spoke. That didn't help me then. We pretty much spoke on a daily basis. There might be a few times that a week, 10 days would go by. But usually there were texts in between if we didn't speak on the phone. And the occasional, if both of our lives were super busy, we would both do it. Well, she was better at it because I have been trying to get better at checking in on people, because I go into hermit mode. I close off, and if you don't check in on me, I won't check in on you. And having friends die on me is, I gotta check in. But yeah, I have done it with her a couple times. We would just be like checking in, and we're all good. Things are busy. I love you. I'll talk to you soon. Stuff like that. I've known her since second grade. So we met in elementary school. We were friends in school, but it never went outside of school. We didn't carry that friendship on outside of school. We reconnected on Facebook years later, and the first time she reached out to me in Messenger was to tell me my artwork was amazing. And that was in 2017. And in 2019, she reached out again, and she shared a memory. And it's something, once she shared it with me, I kind of have a vague memory of it, but it was from our freshman year. And I had just lost my dad. I had been in a mental hospital and had been raped there, and my boyfriend, who it wasn't technically losing my virginity, but the person I willingly gave my virginity to, we had just broke up, and I was having a really hard time with that. So I don't remember much. But we were in health class, and she said something about how she didn't like her nose, and I told her that it looked like an upside down strawberry, so it was cute. And she remembered that and thanked me for it, and I couldn't believe that in a time of such darkness, I was able to touch someone in that way. But from her sharing that memory, I mean, we just started developing a connection, and gradually, it got to where we shared phone numbers. And then last year I was helping her out, and we were going out with her kids, her youngest. I didn't get a chance to meet her two oldest sons, but I got to meet the youngest three and spent quite a bit of time with them and had a great time. I just can't believe she's gone. I really can't. It is very surreal. I thought going to the funeral home yesterday would make it real, and I'm still kind of in a fog. Seeing her in the casket was bizarre. And it's not that I'm pretty used to. I mean, that's just the way we do things around here. Open casket. Yeah, I'm pretty practiced at this, but with her, I don't know if it's because we are the same age. She's a friend, someone I grew up with. I don't know, but it was very bizarre. I have moments that I'm mad. And I'm not really mad at her, but, it's the thought of, how dare you sneak yourself into my heart only to leave? Because that's part of the reason that I became a recluse. Why I shut everyone out, because everybody leaves. At some point, everybody dies, and it'll maybe hurt less. And I know that's ridiculous. You're denying yourself a lot of joy and experiences doing that, but that's how I responded to my dad's death, and it's kind of been my defense mechanism since, is to shut everyone out, and only the people that demand my attention are in my life. My best friend has remained my best friend because she calls me every day, because she refuses to let me go hide. And my recent friend that passed away, it was very much the same. And I will say that both of them understood mental illnesses, depression and mood disorders and personality disorders. They had a certain understanding of it, and they understood my battle. Well, my best friend still understands. But even the one that I found out I lost last June, that's something we shared in common, was the battle with depression and personality disorders, and she was another one that, I'm here, I demand your attention. But she would go off in her own little, she would hide as well sometimes, and I allowed her to do so. She allowed me to hide sometimes too, but other times we It's like sometimes we just knew we needed to get the other one out of the hole. I don't know. I don't know. And like I said, you think you'd experience a death enough that it wouldn't hit you as hard as it does, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many times you go through it. You're never prepared. You maybe understand the process. I mean, I get the grieving process. I want to reach acceptance right now. I don't want to go through this. I don't want to go through this. I know I have to. I have to let it happen. And I feel for her children. I so feel for her children. Because, like, especially her teenage daughters, I was right in the middle of both of their ages when I lost my dad. So I understand what they're experiencing right now. It's probably a little different because I lost my dad, not my mom. I mean, it's apparent nonetheless. And I guess it also depends on if you're a mama's kid or a daddy's kid. And I was very much a mama's girl. But it still devastated my world to lose my dad. So I don't know. But and the little one, it's a totally different experience for him being 6. And I think my sister would have a little bit of a better understanding of what her 2 older sons are going through, because my sister was 21. Yeah, I think she just turned 21 the month prior, when Dad died. So, the adult experience of, you don't live with that parent anymore. You're an adult, you're experiencing adult things. I mean, she already had a son. So it was a totally different experience that I can't see it from her perspective because I didn't go through it. I mean, I can try to imagine it, but I'm sure my sister would have a better idea of what our 2 older sons are going through. It's just, I don't know. It's a part of life. I guess it also, I've been so afraid for years of my heart because my dad died of a heart attack. And here one of my closest friends is dying at this age from a heart attack. I don't know if I should probably cut off this recording now, because at this point I'm just going to continue to ramble. But I'm very grateful I got to know her. She was super supportive in my dreams and my visions in my business. She always asked me how I was doing, what's going on, how's life. Um, she was a beautiful person, and I'm gonna miss her. I'm gonna miss our 2+ hour phone calls. Our little therapy sessions. I'm gonna miss them. Like, just like that, life is different. I'm gonna cut it off here. I love you guys. Take care of yourself. And I'll see you in the next video. Before I cut it off, I do want to say that it was these vlogs that made Deanna really want to connect with me. So I'm grateful that I started doing this because of this. I guess it made her feel like she was getting to know me, and she wanted to actually get to know me. So even if my only purpose in doing these was to get a new friend, a new soulmate, or to find a soulmate, because I view soulmates as your friends, your pets. Soulmates is more than just a romantic thing. I'm grateful for these vlogs. It's because of them that she came into my life. Back into my life. Okay. I hope you're all well, and I'll see you in the next video.